There are important questions of how these banks got into the circumstance in the first place. We must get the full accounting of what happened and why those responsible can be held accountable. In my administration, no one is above the law.
Okay, that was President Biden yesterday trying his level best to reassure the American people that those who are responsible for the Silicon Valley Bank collapse will be held accountable.
And joining us now for more on the president's response is Pennsylvania Congressman and member of the House Financial Services Committee, Dan Meuser. Sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Rob.
Good to see you.
Too.
Congressman, I want to get your reaction to the president's comments yesterday. He spent some time blaming it on Donald Trump. He did that when that balloon traversed across the lower 48. He did that after that train derailed in Ohio. We had Jim McLaughlin, a pollster from McLaughlin and Associates, on earlier this morning. I asked him if that's something that the administration has poll tested. Do you think that's a winning message, especially coming into election? Basically blame your predecessor 2.5 years into your term in office?
You know, Rob, this administration, was stated to me yesterday by someone I respect, could be the worst administration in the history of the United States. Every issue is a disaster. Crises are created, and then they come in and put Band-Aids on them. I mean, from Afghanistan to our energy crisis, to Ukraine, to COVID, to China, to the border, obviously. The list just goes on. So, and what just is such a non-lesson in life, there's responses to blame. It's really sad, it's pathetic. And to make matters worse, they created this environment as well that has caused Silicon Valley Bank. I mean, many banks are struggling. Our banking system is fine overall. Regional banks, small banks, the big banks. But because of the crazy policies, inflationary policies, and the rapid increase in interest rates, many banks' investment portfolios, which is obviously an important portion of their overall balance sheet, are underwater. And so SVB is not alone there, but SVB was over leveraged. And not to make matters worse, the San Francisco Fed just recently gave them a clean bill of health. They did a regulatory review. This is nuts. This is the 16th largest bank in the country. They should have had a regulator on site.
Right.
But you know why? Probably they didn't. Because you got guys like Gensler at SEC, and you got a Michael Barr at the Fed and the OCC as well, that are far more focused on ESG mandates and making the banking equitable in their view than they are in giving us a very competitive banking environment, which is weakening the United States of America.
Yeah, Congressman, I just want to get your thoughts because the administration is saying this isn't a bailout. But how concerned are you that the precedent that sets forward, and the fact is that they're going to increase fees, and I guess what does this mean for Americans, and what does this mean for the future of banks?
Yeah, all the banks I spoke to yesterday, and I'll be speaking to them today throughout Pennsylvania, say the same thing, that their FDIC fees premiums are going to go up to pay for this. So there's about $100 billion in the account now. And of course, it's an added cost, fee, tax, that's semantics. And so the cost of banking in the U.S., not in China, not in Europe, not elsewhere, but the cost of banking in the U.S. will go up. Look, this response was actually necessary because they created this environment.
Right.
There was no real regulation of this bank, SVB, and we needed to calm any other panics from taking place. But there were other options, better options at their disposal. If this administration moves very slowly, I think it's pretty obvious. There's no decision maker. We have a very bad chain of command that sometimes takes days. This one only took about 48 hours, but that showed to be too long in an immediate crisis situation.
And then Signature Bank on Sunday night. It was unbelievable. And this morning, the concern is about other banks like Credit Suisse, which is a massive global bank. We heard that First Republic Bank was having issues as well. Opening bell about an hour and 45 minutes away. We're not out of the woods yet here. This is still a pretty scary situation, perhaps not limited to these two banks. Congressman Dan Meuser, appreciate you being with us this morning and breaking that down. Thank you.
Always appreciate you. Thank you.